starting to wonder if they were ever going to get here, but yeah, they have.
We're rolling. Go ahead, sir.
All right, we will call the meeting to order. Jen, would you take roll, please?
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Commissioner Thel.
Here.
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Lindsay.
Here. You have before you the agenda for this evening.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no appearances or acknowledgments, is there anything you'd like removed from the consent calendar? If not, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under new business, number 2, authorize the mayor to sign the proposal with Double H Paving on parking lot improvements. And just to kind of give a little bit of an update in that, DeLon Mork and help me out, next to yourself,
Deb Reed.
Deb Reed. They have the parking lot properties on
Next
both
one.
sides of the city parking lot at North Egan. And both of them are moving forward with Double H Paving to redo their parking lots and that. And so we are in the middle. So Bob has been up there and that, and Kelly, you were up there, right?
Yes.
And I was up there, and we've looked at it, and we've looked at what they, are suggesting. And it is suggested that the entire area be, I'm going to say, smoothed out level and tilted slightly to the east, so all the water runs from the parking lot to the alley, and from the alley and that to the street. Question was, what level do we have to go to bids? The level is $50,000. In this case here, and that the estimate for the city's portion of it was 26 something. And so having been there and seen it and understanding what needs to be done, my suggestion is that we move forward with the same contractor, so everything is done at the same time, leveled correctly and drainage taken care of, rather than try to have it worked on one side and then on the other side, and then us in the middle try to figure out what to do with the water. So that's kind of where we are in the beginning, and I guess I'll open it up for other discussion.
So all three entities, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
have agreed to go together to get this done.
Well, 2 entities have. We are the third,
Yeah.
and that's why we
If
have
we
it
do.
before us.
Excuse me, thank you for that
Yes.
clarification. And we're allowed to move ahead on this up to 50,000, correct?
You don't have to bid until it becomes a $50,000
Right.
project.
That's what.
However,
same
this
thing, yeah.
is a $26,000 expense that you don't have budgeted for. I've got
Right.
some recommendations, but go ahead.
Have we used the contingencies, assuming that's one of your recommendations?
It's not, and we have not, so yes. I've talked a couple times now, and just recently, most recently this afternoon with Mr. Gagnon, Street Superintendent Mr. Gagnon. In your Highways and Streets Fund, which is where this would normally come from if you were to budget this project, you'll remember that we have a building, $250,000 that we have a line item budgeted. $200,000 of that expense was supposed to come from a reserve, which right now gives us about $50,000 wiggle room in the Highways and Streets budget. Did talk to Gary, does not anticipate that this building is going to happen yet in 2017.
What building?
What's that?
The one to store equipment in that Fred had proposed,
Okay,
people
okay.
from the
That's
west.
a cold story.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, one of my concerns is that we have another parking lot on Main Street, which is in our property, not yours, but our property, which is in, down there the other day, looking at it, is equally in terrible shape.
It is.
They're not worse. So I think we need to look at that too.
Can we do so with the 2018 budget?
Well, if that's all there is, that's what there is, but it is really needs some work. It was, I knew it was in terrible shape, but I didn't think it was as bad as it was. And then we've got those, sticking out those ends of those old markers,
Yep.
Parking meters.
Yeah, pylon meters too. So-
That's been bad for quite some time.
Yes.
And they've just been pushing it off. But on this here, I'd like to ask Chad a question. Why do we need a 4-inch map on a parking lot when our northeast third is only gonna have an 1.5 inch overlay on it. Could we cut the expense there some way? 6 inches of crushed gravel underneath. Could we put that ground up asphalt down and then just go with a couple inches of crushed gravel to cut the expense?
I suspect you could. There was not a borings done or anything to provide a surfacing recommendation from the geotechnical. Obviously, there's not likely going to be truck traffic there. This appears to have been simple. The contractor was talking to the adjacent parties and, oh, by the way, can we come over and look at it? This is what they're doing, this is what we're going to do. So I can't tell you, based upon an engineering analysis, why 6 inches is the magic number and why 4 inches is the magic number. Unless there's some, it's a standard. I suspect Mr. Huey, who put this together, has experience in parking lots where he does parking lots with his paving company, but I can't answer that.
Are you putting a 4-inch?
I am because I'm gonna have payloaders on there and heavy stuff moving snow and garbage trucks and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not gonna spend this kind of money and then have to redo it because I was too cheap to do it right. So I can't address what you're saying, Bob. I mean, the crushed asphalt, I don't know how those two work together. I don't know anything about that, but in mine, as far as a new parking lot, one that's there's nothing there before, he said go 4 inches, and I agree because there'll be a lot of heavy stuff on there. So I don't know what kind of traffic will be on yours. Garbage truck, maybe not, but I can't say for sure that they won't. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
the exit's on ours. So, when they come in there, they're going to go out on the city one too. And then we have payloaders, that move it. So,
this parking lot's going to be there for another 40 years probably, and so whatever it takes, and it needs to be the same as everybody there. I mean, you got two people that are working together and trying to do this, and the city just needs to step in and assist. I mean, a couple of good businesses, that's what we're here for. And with that, I would make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign proposal for Double H paving parking lot improvements and pull that from the building reserve.
How about we make your motion that we use the cash overage in the highways and streets
the
fund?
cash overage in the highway and streets funds, wherever Jen finds it.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What amount are you going?
Up to $27,000.
Second?
we have a motion and a second.
Couple more questions, please.
Other discussion?
Oh darn, you said that. I forgot.
What's the construction timeline?
Yeah, that was part of it.
Gary's got payloader and skid loader sitting in mine now. He was gonna start today, but couldn't get at it, so he's gonna start tomorrow morning.
So you're ready to go. You're ready to move.
Yep.
Okay.
And the reason I got the city involved is because if you guys weren't gonna do yours, then we had to shape mine and act differently with the water. We had to, direct it differently than if you were gonna be involved. So that's why I called the mayor and had him look at it to see what he thought about that, and was curious what your...
And currently, we have a mud puddle between the two parking lots, and I'd like to see that mud puddle gone.
Bob and I have talked about this. We've looked at it more than once. So the other part is, what do we use that for? Parking for persons, like in a snow alert.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have
Will that be
to
lined? We're going to do lining on it. We're going
There's no,
do we have any?
I don't think there's anything in
That's-
this proposal.
I don't think that's in the proposal, but that is something that we could do down the road if we want to have it marked and lined. Currently, there are dividing concrete that people pull up to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I just wondered if we wanted to use those and I don't know, maximize it somehow, make it more efficient for people when we need to get our residents in there, so we can get as many as we can in, who are now in the largely on apartments above that. But you're right, that's a decision we can make on our part, or others too, if necessary.
And people that have the apartments are supposed to provide off-street parking for their people, if I remember right, during the snow alert.
Yeah, and I understand. We, those folks have been before us before when we were doing other things. so just concerned about.
That parking lot's been there for a good 45 years. That was
Been there a long time.
the old credit loan parking
Right.
lot there. SIC, I think, if I remember right.
Before my time, Bobby. Sorry.
Sure, we'll
And
take
now-
your word for it.
Now it's SICK.
Anyway, I'm ready to go ahead if that's fine.
Other questions, comments?
We agree then to address the other parking lot, which I think we call
Later.
Foley's parking lot, within our 2018 budget.
Kelly can bring that up with Gary.
The only other thing, Mr. Mayor, is this thickness, while there's not been any scientific analysis, if you will, to maybe talk in unnecessary terms, but it doesn't seem unreasonable, a 4-inch mat on a 6-inch gravel base.
Well, the inch and a half we're putting on Third is on a concrete
It's on-
base.
it's on
Because there's
concrete,
an
which
8-inch concrete street underneath it.
Concrete with, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, whether it's, and there's at least 4 inches of asphalt on that, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I don't think that the 4-inch base that we're talking about here.
Right, no.
The question is, there's just, a couple of questions about comparing to that.
Sure.
So only an inch and a half.
You might be lucky if you had a 3-inch mat on this parking lot right now.
Typically, your surfacing section, if you will, is referred to as your asphalt in addition to your granular, and they work together.
Mhm.
You can use a thinner asphalt section if you use a thicker gravel section, and so you give and take on those, and all those are based upon loads, what your anticipated loads are. If you're designing for truck traffic, car traffic, it's not as much, so you just maybe use your best rule of thumb. But this does not seem unreasonable.
And it doesn't to me either. It's just within the totality of the discussion between what, on Third Street, inch and a half, 2 inch. There's been some questions whether we knew that was enough or not. That's referencing it back and forth, but we're going to go with your recommendations. I'm okay with it. It's good.
Sounds good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, and then moving back to old
Thank you.
business. Thank you. Old business, hearing upon the application for the sale of alcoholic beverages, temporary malt beverage license, Madison Broncos baseball. Did you have anything you wanted to add to what we've already been presented? Do you have
Mr. Miller
anything
is
you
here.
want to
Mr.
add
Miller, sir.
on the hearing?
No, I do not.
Okay. Seeing no one else that I think, we'll move into new business. Approve the application for the sale of alcoholic beverages, temporary malt beverage license for the Madison Broncos baseball. Any questions, comments, discussion?
Everything's in order, Jen?
Everything's in order. We briefly had this discussion on the night that we acknowledged it. This is a longer, their request is for July 21st through July 29th. No issues with that, but just to note that that's longer than we normally approve.
And that was allowing for rain dates or
Exactly,
those
it
kind of
does,
things too.
That's
So
right.
as explained to me by Mr. Miller.
Any law enforcement concerns?
No, Chief was fine with it for that amount of time as well.
Excellent.
I move to approve the application for the sale of alcoholic beverages, temporary malt beverage license for the Madison Broncos baseball.
Second.
We have a motion and a couple seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
First, 'cause-
Motion carries. All right. Again, thank you, everyone. So,
Thanks.
very good.